Hello, everybody, and welcome to Kyrus Has Friends, the show where I sit down with the people that matter to me the most, and those people are my friends. Before we get to our special guests today, if you're interested in seeing more of me for some reason, you can always follow me on my favorite social media platforms on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at The Vibe with Kai. You can also follow me on Snapchat and on TikTok at Kyrus Keenan, where I'm always posting something goofy. So if you like goofiness, you can just go there. And then you can also visit my website, thevibewithkai.com, where I'm always posting things like blogs and videos that'll help you do good, feel good, be good, and live a good life full of good vibes and all that jazz. But enough about me. Enough about me and my good vibes. Enough about me and my TikToking and my Snapchatting and my Facebooking. I'm sitting here with the very special guest, somebody who I have to say is way better at her job than I am at mine, because she's quite talented and a good friend of mine who I guess it's been, how long have we known each other now? A year?
Yeah, about a
About a
year.
year.
About a year.
And all that. So I'm sitting here with my friend Shauna Puccio, who has her master's in voice performance and pedagogy.
Yes.
I
You
said
did
it right.
it. Woo!
Yes. All right. Well, that's all we have time for, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for listening. Have a wonderful day. She has her master's in voice performance and pedagogy. I said it again because I'm proud of myself.
Yes.
And she is currently on her path to getting her doctorate in audiology. And we're going to talk about that in a second. But before we get into that, there's we live in a crazy world right
Yes.
now, to
Yes,
say
we
the
do.
least. A world where some of the things that we're used to doing, we are not able to do. So I want to check in on you, Shauna. Shauna, how are you doing? How are you feeling during this quarantine world that we're living in right now?
Yeah, I am doing really well, all things
Hmm.
considered.
Hmm.
And it's funny because I started a brand new job 2 weeks before everything shut
Oh
down.
man.
And I was like, oh my gosh, like they're gonna let me go. I don't know
Oh.
what I'm gonna
So
do.
you felt that because you were so new
I was
and
so
they said it,
new.
yeah, that you would be like the first cut.
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly. And they told us, they were like, listen, like, we don't know what the future holds. We don't know if we're going to have to make cuts, which they eventually did have to.
Sure.
But I wasn't one of them, thank goodness.
Thank goodness. Yes.
Yeah, and I got to work from home basically since the beginning of my job.
Hmm.
So, like, I really can't complain.
Yeah.
I I have two dogs that I
Hmm.
have to take care of, so
Yes.
not having to worry about leaving them home alone
Hmm.
and being able to do just like the little things even on my lunch break, wash the dishes or like
Right. Right.
something that you're like supposed to do, but you when you get when you get home from work, you're just like, I just don't want to do
I
this.
just want
But
to
like
sit on the couch and watch Netflix for 20 hours. Leave me alone.
exactly, yeah. And so I think during my lunch break, I still have a little bit of energy where I'm like, okay, I can be productive even so
Yes.
during my lunch break. So I'm doing really well during
Yes.
quarantine. And
That's
how are
good.
you doing?
I am doing well. You know what? I kind of have a similar story. I mean, I've been at my job for over 2 years now, but uh I moved to a new, oh, there's the wine. I should have got wine. Why, you're drinking wine and I'm not, and I'm
I
sad.
am. Yeah, I was a little nervous. I had to
Oh.
like take the edge.
Oh, what? You're nervous about talking to me today? But it's
Yeah,
just me. It's
I
just
know.
me.
But like this is on social
It
media
is on
and
social media. So don't say anything that you'll regret, because when you run for president, this will come back to haunt you.
oh God.
I know. So just know that people are gonna dig this up.
Listen, like don't threaten me with a good time
Yeah,
because I
right.
might run for president.
Yeah, right. Well, listen, I'll take you. Oh, never mind. We're not even gonna go there. So not even gonna go there. But anyway, so I moved into my new home on March 15th, which was the same day that
Yes.
they pretty much shut everything down.
Yeah.
So I have been in my home a lot, and I don't know what it's like to wake up, get ready for work, and then drive to work from
Right.
my home. I have no idea what it's like. I
Oh my
literally did
gosh.
it for the first time because I go into the office once a week. I did it for the first time last Wednesday. Last Wednesday. What is it? August what? It was like August 18th or something like that.
Oh my
And that
word.
was my first time ever waking up, putting on clothes, and like taking a shower, not in that order, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And like driving to work and then driving
Right.
back. It was like a normal day. And I'm like, I
That is
don't
so
like it.
crazy.
I don't like it. I want to
like
be
it.
able. I want to wake up. All I want to put on is a hat and a shirt, and then go on my Zoom
Yeah.
calls and call it a day.
Exactly. Yeah, I feel the same. Some people have been really struggling through quarantine. They're like,
Yes.
yeah, but I like the people interaction. I
Yes.
like having somewhere to go.
Yeah.
It's a break from my home. And I'm like, I can't relate to that statement. Like, I cannot relate. I like being home.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think I had more of a social anxiety than I knew I had.
Fair enough.
Because as soon as I came home, I was like, I have no stress.
Yeah.
I'm just doing my job from 8 to 5. And I wash my hands of it at the end of the day,
Yes.
but like there's no stress. Like I don't have to run into my boss in the hallway.
Yes.
I don't have to talk about things that people just make stupid conversation over.
Yeah.
You know,
There's no,
I'm
like,
just
small
not
talk.
into small talk.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's no
I'm not into
like
that.
when you're refilling your coffee mug. It's not like, so you watched the game last night. Like none of that.
Exactly. Just because you're here doesn't mean you have to say something to me. Like,
Exactly.
you can just be quiet.
Right. We can just like I'm not going to get mad at you if you don't say a single word to me. That's okay.
Exactly.
We're on the
Yeah.
same
So
page.
it's been really working in my favor.
That's fair.
And it sounds like in your favor as well. So
100%.
that's good.
100%. Because
Great.
I consider myself to be one of the most introverted extroverts of all time, which I learned there's a word for that. It's called ambivert. I had no idea that's a thing, but I put up a TikTok the other day that was like, yeah, I'm the most introverted extrovert of all time. And they're like, oh, well, excuse me, that word is called ambivert. And I'm like, oh, geez, I'm sorry. I had no idea.
I mean, who would know that though?
Them. All of them. Exactly. Apparently, I was the only person in the world that did not know what an ambivert was. So now I feel stupid, and that's why I don't talk to people.
Yeah, no, I'm the same way though. Like the whole extroverted introvert, I feel like that's like an up and coming like fad to be. But I feel like I've always been like that.
I've always been that way. Yeah,
you know?
like I have no problem talking to people when I have to. I just don't want to.
Right, exactly.
Like when I'm talking to people, like it's fine. Like if I'm in a social setting, like I'll have a good time. It'll be fine. I'll feel comfortable. It's fine. If I can avoid it, even better. If I can sit at home and read a book or watch TV or something like that, Kyrus is happy.
Exactly. And I am absolutely the kind of person that I'm like, I regret ever making plans ever. Like,
and then when they get canceled, you're like, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
But every time I'm like, I'm going to be a new person and I'm going to love going out, and it just doesn't happen. Like it just doesn't happen.
Or maybe it happens once, and then the first time that you have a choice of going out and going in or staying in, and you decide to stay in, you're like, I made the right decision. I'm really happy right now.
Yeah. Yes.
So
exactly. And then
no, please go ahead.
Oh, and I was just gonna say, all my friends, they're like, no, like you're so extroverted, and I'm like, to you.
Yeah, exactly.
To you.
It's like if you only knew that I do not want to have this conversation right now.
Exactly.
Well, one of the times that you did decide to go out was when we met. So like we met at a party, at Professor Arneson's house. We met at that party, and I remember thinking as we were sitting there talking, and I'm like, she needs to be my friend. Like, yes, 100%. She needs to be my friend.
Well, and I knew it because no one ever vibes with me when it comes to In the Heights. And as soon as that,
two of my tattoos.
And I want tattoos from that so bad.
Yes.
And when I mentioned it and you were like, yes, I was like, done deal. Like, we can be friends. No one ever knows the passion that I have for In the Heights. And they don't know why. It was my very first Broadway show I ever saw.
Is it really? I don't think I knew that.
Yes, I wasn't allowed to see Broadway shows. That's a whole nother story until I was 18, but I wasn't going to wait. I was a Broadway buff. Like, that's all I listened to.
Of course. Yeah.
And I forged my parents' signature on my permission slip. And I told them that I was going to go to a local restaurant that had like theater snippets during dinner. And they were doing Don Quixote that night. And I was like, listen, I'm not going to be back until late. Like, dinner doesn't start until like 8 o'clock and the show is really long. So like, don't expect me home until whatever. And they believed it.
Shauna! Wait, okay, here's my question. What year did this take place?
That was, oh gosh, I was in high school.
So like probably like mid 2000s, like 2005, 6, 7, 8, like around there?
Yeah, yep.
Okay. So it's been probably about 15 years since that point.
Yes.
If your parents are listening right now, is this the first time they're hearing the truth?
The full truth, probably.
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. This is an exclusive this is an exclusive tidbit. Shauna lied to her parents. Parents, if you're listening right now, just know that she had the best of intentions. She just wanted to go see In the Heights, which is a fantastic
All
show.
I wanted, yeah.
I'm trying to save you from the trouble.
Yeah, I appreciate that. There was far more trouble to come in my teenage years for them. So
you know. They're probably like, we're just happy that you're a nice person.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like she has a good head on her shoulders now.
Right.
So.
No, it's funny because we met at that party and I was like, I remember because we're sitting there talking. And I'm like, this person needs to be my friend. And then ever since that day, we've just been friends. We just we just made it a point because I think we were both feeling the same way, and we both made it a point to just be like, okay, we're friends now, and we're gonna talk.
Yeah, exactly.
We're just gonna like talk.
And I think at that party, I was like, I need to talk to this guy because I don't want to talk to anybody else that I know here, if only to escape that. And it worked so in my favor.
I know. It works out because it's funny how everything just kind of like worked out, and like how I would have never thought going into that day that I would come out with like this newfound lifelong friend that I have now. And I'm like, yeah, I'm happy. This makes me happy.
Yeah, me
this makes
too.
me happy.
Can you imagine we would have never met if you weren't someone's plus one to the party?
I know. And it legit worked out perfectly because I work right up the street from his house. So I told her, I was like, hey, she's like, if you want to come to this party, you can come with me because I knew Professor Arneson because he was one of my professors too when I went to Rider. And so I was like, she was like, yeah, you should just come to the party. And I was like, okay, sure. I don't really know anybody there. And I don't even think Professor Arneson remembers who I am because I only had one class with him. And it was a long, long time ago, like 2008. And it was like, well over 10 years ago. And so I'm like, I don't think that she would know or that he would remember me. So I showed up and I was fairly quiet because I really didn't know anybody there and everybody else knew each other there. But I only knew the person that I was with. And then we started talking and then it just kind of went from there. And I'm like, this works out perfectly.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And I'm pretty sure the whole room went like whoever else we were sitting with were just like,
yeah, they were just like,
cool,
okay,
like they're just like having their own conversation.
Look at us now. And look at us now. They're probably like, if anybody was at that party, they're probably watching this right now being like, wait, what?
Wait, they stayed friends this whole time.
They stayed for like over the past year, like they stayed friends. That's crazy.
Right.
But no, that's really sad. So now like we met at that party and then I went, and the really cool thing is that I went to go see you perform because you have this gorgeous voice.
Thank you.
And I was a plus one again to go see you perform. And I remember sitting there being like, oh my gosh, like you just like song after song after song. And I was like, what, how? Because you went to Westminster Choir College.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
What was that like? What was it like going to Westminster Choir College?
I think my experience there wasn't your typical experience because Westminster was going through all the drama of them being sold, and my voice teacher left a year in. So Arneson wasn't even my first voice teacher.
Sure.
I had Dr. Rieger and then he left to take another opportunity. Right. Totally understandable. I would never hold bad blood for someone like that. But it was stressful for me because I had my heart set on studying with him the whole time because like a bunch of my friends who had previously gone there had studied with him. Mm-hmm. And then it was just kind of like the rug was ripped out from under me. I mean, it definitely worked out because Dr. Arneson has been such a godsend to my voice. And I didn't even know, like, Dr. Rieger's amazing, but I didn't know what I was missing from a different point of view from his teaching. And he and I kind of were able to see eye to eye more so because Arneson is a pedagogue and I pride myself on being a teacher at heart. Mm-hmm. Performing comes second to me, to teaching. Right. And I have my own studio now. I opened one up here in my house. One of my guest rooms is a studio.
Nice. Oh, that's cool.
So it really, it worked out in the end.
Good.
And I'm not pursuing music as a career now. And like, do I wish that I could have said like, listen, like maybe you should think about this 2 years ago, if only just to save the cash.
Sure.
Yeah, I would
Sure.
have. But
Yeah.
you can't replace experiences.
Right.
So there's a give and take to every
Of course.
situation.
Of course. So going through the performance that I saw, that was your final performance, like
Yes.
All the training that you did at the school, that was your final performance. What was it like taking the stage after years and years and thousands of dollars of trainings and late nights and rehearsals and all of that stuff? What was it like to go that whole time and then finally have it culminate at that moment?
You know, I thought I was going to be a lot more nervous than I was. And it helped that Dr. Arneson allowed me to mold my program into something that I really loved. You know, I did some American art song that was kind of like off the cuff. Not many people do this kind of thing. And then half of it was musical theater. So that is something I'm so passionate about. And I think I was shocked at myself because I hadn't sung an entire program since my undergrad, which was years before this had happened.
Sure.
So I didn't know how my voice was going to cooperate. I didn't know if I was going to be fatigued by the end of it. I didn't know if people were going to like it. That's a huge thing for me. It's like, can I keep people's attention? Can I tell the story the way that I want to tell the story? Mm-hmm. That it really touches people. And that's what's important for me. And there was always a quote that stuck with me since I took Dr. Arneson's class. Mm-hmm. And there was a quote in the book, and it says, the end of art is not to, oh gosh, now I'm going to forget it because I'm on the spot.
Don't forget, you're running for president, so don't forget.
I know, right? I won't quote it. It's like the end of art is not to impress, but to move. Mm. And I've always stuck to that. And I think that's what's the most important. And even some musical theater, I find musical theater really moving. Mm-hmm. But some people don't see it like that. Some people just see it as like, they're just singing and dancing and I can't take 2.5 hours of that. And I'm like, but like, you're only looking at this surface area of it. You're, you know.
It's just that's just narrow-mindedness.
It's narrow-minded, yeah. And it's so funny because when Hamilton came out on Disney Plus, luckily I was able to see it on Broadway.
I'm jealous.
Not with the original cast.
I'm jealous. Still, I'm jealous. I've watched it 7 times, by the way, on Disney Plus. I've watched it 7 times.
Yes, I've watched it several times. And as soon as it started, we had like a showing party here at my house.
Yeah. Thanks for the invite. Awkward.
Sorry, Kai.
No, it's fine. I didn't want to. Remember, I'm an introvert, so I didn't want to watch it with anybody anyway. So.
Wow. All right. Well, moving on.
Well, oh no, my internet connection is bad. I guess. Oh man, I'm kidding.
It started, and I just started sobbing, and nobody really. Everyone was looking at me like. Nothing happened yet. And I was like, but like when you are so invested in a musical and now you finally get to see it, it's right before your eyes. It literally, like something just releases inside of you. And like by the end, forget it. Like when the orphan.
I know. Yeah. You know, what's funny is that like, so I was afraid that like after watching it on Disney Plus that I would have less of a inkling to go see it, but it only made me want to go see it more, because I know there's 100%. So much that we just didn't catch because of maybe the camera was facing it one way, you know, you can't watch it the other, you know, watch something else that's happening on the other side of the stage and all of that, and it just made me want to go watch it even more, you know, like once Broadway makes its grand return, like it just makes me want to go watch that kind of stuff, or that show specifically, even more. So I'm with you. I might start crying too. I might be sitting there in the audience. Of course, I'll be way up in the back because obviously, and and so the show will be like bum 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 bum, and I'll be like, oh God.
Where's the tissues?
Oh my yeah.
Yes.
So to say that Lin-Manuel Miranda has had a little effect on your life is an understatement.
Yes. I mean, he's just so brilliant. And
Yes.
I wish I could peek inside his brain.
Oh, man.
Just for a couple of hours even. Because I can't imagine the way that he thinks. Like,
I know.
just the smallest idea, I can make this into a song or a musical, you know?
Right,
like
let alone
this
a
whole
musical. I once I tweeted at him one time.
Yeah.
Because he was like, at the time, it was like around the time that they had announced that filming had begun on the new Mary Poppins movie.
Yeah.
So I tweeted at him because they also had like announced that he was going to be directing Tick Tick Boom, and then Hamilton was still at its peak, and like all of this like great stuff was happening. I think Moana might have been like out at the time too. Like it was just like he was like just living it
Killing
up.
it.
And so I tweeted at him, and like it wasn't even at him. I just tweeted in general. I tagged him, and I was like, I don't know how Lin-Manuel Miranda does it. Like he has so much stuff going on. Like blah blah. He responded to me.
No, he didn't.
Yes, and I was like, what? So like, and he went on about how, you know, how he's like, you know, how he has a great team and blah blah blah, like all that nonsense, right? But like, could you just imagine my face when I'm in the middle of my workday? So I sent out this tweet, and 20 minutes later, I get a notification on my phone, and it says, Lin-Manuel Miranda has replied to your tweet. And I was like,
no.
And at first I was like, okay, this is probably one of those like Twitter accounts that's like somebody just created like this random Twitter account that says blah, 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 blah. But then I opened it up and I saw the blue check mark, and I'm like, Lin-Manuel Miranda just he knows I exist. He knows that I exist. And then on top of that, and he wrote back this really long like just thread tweet in response to what I said. And I was like, oh man, that's fantastic. I don't even know what to say back. And I wanted to, whatever I was going to say back, I was like planning in my head, okay, I want to say this. I have his attention now. What can I do? And so like I'm coming up with something in my head. An hour later, he sends another tweet following up on the tweet that he just sent. And I nearly dropped my phone.
So like you made him think, like you were on his mind.
like legit, like to know that whatever he was doing that day, whether he was like rehearsing for Mary Poppins or writing that new musical or directing Tick Tick Boom or whatever the heck he was doing at that moment.
Yeah.
I made my way into his brain with this stupid ass tweet. And then he wrote back, and then for an hour he was like, no, wait, I got more. And
I love that.
And so like, here's the thing: if I ever get the chance to meet him and have like a one-on-one conversation with him, I'm going to show him and tell him that story, and I'll be like, just so you know, I was in your brain for like an hour. And whatever I said, it bothered you. And like, I mean, it didn't bother him, but he like, it hit him in a way that he not only wanted to respond, but he wanted to follow up to his original response. And I was like,
He would be like, security, get this guy out of here.
So I hope I get the chance to like meet him and like actually chat with him, because I want to be like,
incredible.
I just want to be like, hey, first of all, big fan. I got tattoos of you all over my body. Also, I tweeted at you once and you tweeted back. And he'll be like, okay, all right, sir, I'm gonna have to ask you.
Right, exactly. Can you please get out of here?
Please leave my home. So with all of that being said, right? So now you're at a point. So you got your master's in voice performance and pedagogy.
Nice.
Pedagogy.
There you go. That was better.
Okay, I'm just losing it now. So now you're getting your doctorate in audiology.
Audiology, yeah.
So here's my question to you. What does that mean?
So audiologists are the people who, they do a million things, really. What they're known for is doing, like at an ENT office, they do your hearing test.
Okay.
They do like cochlear, they don't do the surgery, they do the fitting.
Sure.
They do hearing aid fittings. They do things like, there's a thing called a V&G test, which tells you if you have vertigo or if it's something more. And then they write their report on it. So it's a clinician. Right. It's a clinician doctor, yeah.
And how did you get into that? What made you decide that you wanted to do that?
Yeah, I knew that was going to be the next question because everybody always asks me. So there was a pivotal point when I was at Westminster that really kind of solidified it for me. Well, I guess there were a few moments. I always knew I was great at science.
Okay.
And Kathy Price, shout out to Kathy Price, because she was such
Kathy
a
Price.
great influence on me. Shout out.
Hold on, let me pick up that name real quick. Hold on.
Just like really encouraging me to take my talent in research. I'm such a great researcher and I'm such a great paper writer. Not to toot my own horn, but like that's just what I'm good at.
Sure.
And she was like, I really think that you can excel in something like this. So my original plan was to get my doctorate in music with a pedagogy concentration.
Okay.
But I knew that I would still have to keep on singing.
Yes.
For grades and for teachers, and that sounds like, yeah, obviously, but like for me, that wasn't enjoyable because there was a class that really proved that to me. It was like an auditions class, and I took it as an elective. And it was like, okay, well, what you're going to do for the whole class is you're going to come with your auditions and you're going to sing and we're going to critique you. And the teacher there was she was just a little too mean.
Oh, wow.
And I can take meanness, but I can't take ruthless meanness when there's
it's not constructive.
Positive at all.
Right. Yeah.
So like I had already had it in my brain. I was like, maybe I should really take this audiology route. And it was something that I had been researching and was starting to feel a lot of passion for. And as soon as I took that class, I was like, yeah, like I'm done. Like I'm done walking into a room for auditions. And immediately they look at me. I'm 5'2". I'm small. I'm athletically built. I'm not your typical performing woman.
Okay.
So right off the bat, they're passing a judgment over me without even knowing my name, without hearing me sing. And I was just so tired of that field. And I was so tired of the vanity and the preconceived notions about people when you don't know them.
Yes.
You don't know them. And I was like, you know what? I know I'm smart. I know I'm smart and I know I can do this. So I'm going to do this. I'm just going to I'm pulling the plug on music and I'm making a new one for audiology and I'm going to plug it in. I'm going to plug it in and I'm going to light everything up,
Yeah. That's, oh my gosh. So like that's, so now you said just today you began this journey of getting your doctorate in audiology. And how long does this journey last?
So it's 3 years that involves coursework, and then the 4th year is a full externship. So you're working as
you're
a
going
doctor.
To college again, is what you're saying?
Again, yeah. I am in year 7 of college.
That's Van Wilder. Van Wilder was in college for 7 years.
Yeah, by the time I'm done, it'll be 11 years of college.
11 years. Oh my gosh. Like literally a decade of your life.
I'm like, no, I definitely want to do this, but like, do I want to do this?
So that's like counting the time that you're like from when you first start like kindergarten. I mean, for 2 decades, you are just 2 straight decades of school, right? Are you going to know what it's like to not be in school? Because like I remember it took me a while. Like when I graduated from college in 2009, I graduated and I was like, I don't have any homework. I don't have to do, like, I can go home and just like do what I am good at. I can just do it.
I
don't have to do any of that.
I don't know what I'm going to do with myself, I don't think, because it's going to be a long time coming.
Yeah.
And then like finally hitting that spot where like, you don't even have school on the horizon.
Yeah.
I have no idea what that feels like at all.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So did you ever have aspirations to like be like, not necessarily on the Broadway, but like or maybe is to be on Broadway or to do, classical concerts and things like that. Did you have those aspirations? And if so, when did they stop? Was it during that class?
I definitely knew.
Or do you still have it? I mean, you might still have it. I'm curious. Yeah.
I was better at musical theater always.
Okay.
Ever since I was little, I was always better at musical theater, and then I was like, but there's always people better than me, so let me try the classical route, and it worked. It works, and I can sing classically, but I don't get the joy like I get when I sing musical theater.
Sure.
That being said, yes, I did have aspirations of making it on Broadway. I just didn't have the funds or the connections or honestly the hustle in me to be able to really do that grind. And I have such respect for people who really put in their work and they're like, I'm gonna do this. And I just, like, literally so many props to them because I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it.
I totally 100% understand what you're saying, because like there was a time that I was hustling and I was like, I'm going to give it 125%. And I'll tell you the exact moment when I realized that this is not what I want to do. I was understudying at the George Street Playhouse for a show called To Get in the Band Back Together, which ended up going to Broadway like some years later, right? And I was underscoring for them. And so like at this regional theater, there were a bunch of people that had done Broadway, like that had done like everything that I wanted to do, that had done big shows and had long runs, blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
So I got to sit and talk with them, during rehearsals and things like that. And I'll never forget talking with them and them saying, once a show closes, they're right back where they were before. And it's never a guarantee that you're ever going to get like that opportunity again.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
And then that's what, like, at that point it hit me. I'm like, I don't know if I want to do that. I don't know if I want to live my life with that much anxiety, because like in the moment, obviously, if you do make it to the Broadway, you feel great. Like I'm here, I made it, I'm performing 8 shows a week. Awesome. But then once that show closes, what then? You're right back you're back on the same level as some of the non-act people, right? I like, even from like, they look at me being like they're on the same level as me, because I'm one broken foot away from going on to do this show that was being done by a Broadway actor.
Right.
I'm one cough away from stepping in for a night.
Absolutely.
And like that terrified me. Terrified me to no end. And I knew that I wanted to have more control over my life than that.
Yes. Yep.
And it was at that point that, like, when that ended, I realized that I didn't want to pursue that anymore.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to give it my all and not know how I was going to, make my money, how I was going to eat, whether I would be able to go on vacation, whether I'd be able to buy a new car, whether I'd be able to buy a home in the future, like all of this stuff. And like, even now, like, in hindsight's 2020, but like, I feel awful for all of my friends right now that do Broadway, that do professional shows, that do regional shows, that right now, because they gave it 125%, they made it, and now there is no theater.
Yeah.
And the restaurant, some of the restaurants that they would just go to make extra money, they're closed, or they're working at limited capacity.
Yeah.
So they have to move back with their parents. And not that any of this is bad, but just like, I don't know, with as much anxiety as I have in general that I struggle with, I don't know if I personally would have been able to handle this situation, this pandemic.
Right. And
does that make sense?
There was no way that they could have seen it coming.
Right.
It was, they were so blindsided, and everything was taken from them.
I feel awful.
It's horrible. It really is.
Yeah. I'd like, really not even just my performer friends, but my stage manager friends, my directors, choreographers, pianists, people like Katie, like, I mean, like, obviously, like, they're like, people are still out doing their thing. Like, they're finding the ways to survive and to do what they do best. But like, the things that are so used to, like, it's not happening right now.
Yeah.
And like, could you imagine doing Westminster Choir College virtually?
No, I can't.
Is that what they're going to do this year?
I don't know. The last I heard was, yes, they're doing virtually, but then Murphy said, well, now we can have either some classes are online or whatever he said. And I don't know what the end game was. I don't know what the conclusion was.
I'm really curious how that's how it would work, because I know that they also said that singing is like a super spreader. Like
Yes.
singing and playing any kind of horn of some sort is like one of the worst ways to spread the virus.
Yeah, like I sing in a church currently, and I have to sing in like this like shielded
Yeah.
thing, and no one else can sing behind their mask, so it's just me, and it's just like everything feels weird. Everything just like backwards, you know.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
as you were talking, I realized what my pivotal moment
yeah.
for not picking Broadway was. And it wasn't even a Broadway audition, it was Hairspray Live. I
Really?
went into the city and I auditioned, and he looked at me after I was done and he was like, "You have a great voice. You're just not fat enough." And I was like, "Oh, I can't win! I can't win! I'm not skinny enough. I'm not fat enough." I was like, "I'm done. I'm done. This is it. This is the last audition that I do. That's
Wow.
it."
Well, I guess the silver lining is at least he said what he thought, and it wasn't like
I
some
did
sort of BS. Or
appreciate that. I
but
did
still, that doesn't
appreciate
make it
that.
hurt. That still doesn't make it hurt any less. You're just like,
And
ah, are you serious?
I think I was like so dumbfounded because I was like, that's never been my problem. Like,
Right, right. And
that's
now
never
all of a
been
sudden, you're like, I mean, I'll eat a cheesesteak. Is that what it's gonna take? There's a Wendy's right up the street. I'll just go there. You want me to go there right now? I really want this
literally.
part.
Yes, exactly. Here's a question. Do
Yes.
you think that
Welcome to the
once,
Shauna show. We're gonna.
sorry, yeah,
No,
here
no,
I
no,
go.
no.
I'm
I
taking
love when
over.
people. No, I love when people ask me questions because it never happens. So I love it. Go ahead,
Do
please.
you think when people they make it to Broadway, they get to perform 8 nights a week, do you think it takes some of their passion out of the art because now it's a job?
That's a good question. I think that it depends on your perspective,
Mm,
right? Because for me, I remember one thing that one of my teachers taught me, not just about theater, but just about working in general, is that if you're really doing what you love, it's not a job, right? It's not like, because job gives the implication of like, ah, here we go,
mm,
you know? So yes, it is a job, and it sure once you make it anywhere, it sort of like takes the shine out of it a little bit because it's like, oh, I'm here. Is what it is,
mm.
right?
Right, right.
But I think it's a matter of perspective. I think that
Mm,
some people appreciate it more than others. I think some people take it for granted. I think some people feel entitled to be there when really they're
mm.
not. I think it depends on the person, the experience, and the perspective. But that's a great question. I never really thought of it that way. Um, but but it's hard for me to answer that because I know from my perspective, whenever I reached a point in my life where I'm like, yes, I made it. This is where I want to be right now. I just appreciated it because I look back, I'm like, I worked my ass off to get here,
Mm.
you know? And I think that some of the people that have worked their butts off to make it to Broadway and all those like early morning casting calls when you have to go to like Telsey or whatever and stand
Yes.
outside in the freezing cold to go audition, or doing like these BS small shows in order to gain experience and to build your resume, and the late nights and the working two jobs in order to pay your bills, and then you finally make it. I think that people that go through that ringer probably appreciate it more and
Yeah.
than people that kind of just have it handed to them.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, I appreciate that answer for sure.
That's a
I,
that's a very good question, Shauna.
yeah, I have this
I'm
like
gonna hire you to write my questions for my guests. I'll be like, listen, I have this person coming up. I need you to write me a couple
I,
questions,
I will
please.
do it for you, Kai. I really will. And I was just recently thinking about that because I was writing a piece. One of my friends has like a feminist magazine,
Hmm.
and I wound up writing about how people say that. People say like, if you do something you love, you'll never work a day in your life.
Hmm.
And I think I wish I had not chosen my passion and tried to make it my career.
Interesting.
I really do wish that. And I
But it
think
made you who you are today, though. Do you think that you would be who you are with this mindset today if you like, because you have this you have this experience now because you're able to actually look back and say that, but and because of that you are more, I guess, you just know. Right. So I guess it's easy to say that now.
Yes, it's
right?
definitely easy to say it now,
Yeah.
and I have learned 1,000,001 lessons, and I'm so grateful for those lessons.
Right.
But like for young women
Mm-hmm.
and for young people especially, I kind of wish I could whisper in their ear and be like, you can keep your passion, and you can just have a job that you like to do.
Mm-hmm.
And you could keep those two things separate. And there are so many things that I think obviously everyone can relate to. I wish like I had known things back then. Like what is important now? What's important to me now? Traveling.
Right.
Seeing different cultures, you know, spending time with my friends, having the means to order from the Chinese place down the street that I really love.
Yes.
Having cheap wine nights with my girlfriends, you know, just things that you don't think are going to be important.
Yes.
You wish that you could just send them a message in a bottle, you know?
And Shauna, I totally get what you're saying because, and I was talking with my friend, Michael Anthony Cray, and Michael, he was a Broadway producer, and he also performs and all of this stuff. So he had reached that point, right?
Mm.
And we were just talking the other day about, or not the other day, it was maybe a month or two ago, when we were talking about when it was that both he and I had decided to not, to not pursue it anymore and to not put all of our eggs in one basket. So and so for me, like I already told you a story about that moment, but like the shift of how I approach things, to your point, I was able to still do what I love to do.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't pursue it professionally. It was more of just like, relax, I'll take the opportunity when it's given. But I did put my hard work into what I do now, which is, marketing, right? Which I love. And I'll happily be doing this for the rest of my life. And I've worked myself up to a point that I'm able to lead a team within a company, and I make good money, and I'm able to just be happy and live comfortably.
Absolutely.
And to your point, like I was like, yeah, I'm happy that I chose this path. I don't know if I would have if I didn't experience the things that I did experience. I don't know if I would have the same mindset. Would I have ended up in marketing? Probably, sure. But like I feel I guess I'm thankful for that experience because it like legit made me who I am right now that you're talking to.
Yeah.
And I guess there's more of an appreciation for it and the hard work.
Yeah, totally.
I love this conversation, Shauna. Look at you. Look at you. This is good.
I love it.
Is it the wine? It's the wine. That's
the wine.
So I guess with that said, to kind of wrap this up here, what would you say to somebody right now that is at that crossroads, right, where they have to decide? Like, I mean, I'm pretty sure a lot of people are at the crossroads right now where it's like, okay, do I wait for theater and live performances and film and TV to come back, or do I go a more comfortable route, or maybe not more comfortable, but just more like a more quote unquote guaranteed route? If there's somebody here that's listening to this right now that may be like, I'm at that crossroads right now, what would you say to them? Once again, you're running for president in the future.
Yes, so. Yeah. So music for me was the comfortable thing. It was the thing that I knew I could do it. I knew I could do it. But then, like we said, I wasn't willing to do the hustle. And I think I always knew that. I think there was always that kind of feeling like, is this a long-term thing? And I think if I had to give advice, go with your gut. If something is not right, and that's like so cliche, go with your gut. But like seriously, like you always know. You always know what is going to be right for you, even if it's scary as hell. Like completely switching fields for me, I had to jump. I literally had to jump off that cliff, and hopefully something was going to catch me. And it did. Like it all worked out in my favor. But it's not easy. It is not easy to make that change. If you feel you need a change, do it. Get a support system around you that's really going to be there for you through the downs and through the ups, And so And also, like, if you're having a really bad day and you really just don't know what to do, don't think about it. Put it away. Take a break. The sun is always going to rise tomorrow, so you always have a redo tomorrow. But give yourself a break. I think that's huge. People run themselves, especially now.
The sun will come out tomorrow. That's all I can think. After you said that, the sun will be brighter tomorrow. I'm like, I'm gonna bust it out right now.
but like people nowadays, we're so overworked and we're so spread thin, and so it's really important. If you need a break, take that break for yourself, and you can always come back to it. But yeah, I mean, do the scary thing. That's it.
Absolutely. You got to bet big to win big.
That's right.
Shauna, I appreciate you more than you know, and I'm incredibly thankful that we met at that party. I'm even more thankful that you have decided to not get rid of me, that you have allowed me to stay in your life. Has it been a year? I guess it's been, yeah. So like,
it's actually been over a year.
It's been, it has to be like maybe a year and a half, because it was at the end. It was at the end of the school year last year, because I remember it wasn't like the weather was nice.
Yes, I think it was like April, May.
Yeah, April, May of 2019. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. And now here we are in August 2020. Nothing's wrong in the world. Everything is great. Everybody's happy.
We're killing it.
There's no racism. We solved racism, so that's great.
Obviously.
We obviously solved racism. Yep, everything's great. The world's not on fire.
Without stepping on toes.
Yeah, right. The world's not on fire. Everybody's hugging each other and stuff. It's just so much. Oh man.
We're gonna get there.
We're gonna fight through, because that's just who we are, and
that's right.
And we have people like you to keep us smiling and to keep us happy. I'm speaking for myself, but like I appreciate you more than you realize, and I appreciate you sitting in shadow with me today.
Thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate you thinking of me.
Tell me how great I am now.
100%.
Please don't. No, I'm kidding.
The best man I've ever met.
Oh, go on. Please go on. I'm kidding. But you don't have to stop. You can keep going if you want. I'm kidding. No, I appreciate you. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Shauna Puccio, my good friend, and I love catching up with her. If you want more of this type of stuff, you can go visit me on my favorite social media platforms on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at The Vibe with Kai. You can also follow me on Snapchat and on TikTok at Kyrus Keenan, and you can visit my website at thevibewithkai.com, where I'm always posting blogs and videos and things that'll help you do good, feel good, be good, and live a good life full of good vibes. I'm sitting here with a wonderful person that has their master's in voice performance and pedagogy. She's getting her doctorate in audiology. She is changing the world, my friends. Shauna Puccio, thank you for staying with me. I love you. I love you so much. Everybody else, have a wonderful day. God bless and good vibes. We did it.
Yay!
We did it. See, that was